Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Hi, Lieutenant. How are you doing? Aw, did you find your land nav point, Lieutenant? Good job, Lieutenant. You get a
Expert Action Badge.
put on your uniform right,
Expert Action Badge.
show up to work on time,
Expert Action Badge.
qualify on your weapon,
Expert Action Badge. Badge of Action.
find your guidon.
Expert Action Badge.
That's right, just doing your normal warrior task and drills, you get a
Expert Action Badge.
Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
Shit in a bag, Pogue. Badge of Action. The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio. Action Badge.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Good morning, Sergeant Major.
How do you know what kind of goddamn day it is?
Beautiful morning, Sergeant Major.
Are you a fucking weatherman now?
You're listening to Sergeant's Time on WTF Nation Radio.
Broadcasting live from the Functional Veteran Center of Excellence. This is 16 March. Deep within the mountain. Isn't it tomorrow is the tomorrow's the St. Patrick's Day? Isn't that what it is? Y'all gonna be wearing green? It is St. Patrick's. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm kind of all over the map. You remember when I told you that Baby Ice was sick on Monday and I had to go tend to him? Well, guess what? I think I'm getting sick. So if I sound weird or I'm sounding stuffy or I'm like breathing from my mouth, then you know that I'm probably, just say, hi, I should be in a mouth breather or something like that. So I know that I'm breathing too much through my mouth. It sucks being sick. Guys, whatever we have, it's always called the man flu. The man flu was cool as shit before COVID was cool as shit. Before everyone says it. Before, if a dude got sick and we were way laid out, it was the man flu. So, make sure you post your man flu survivor card up and all that. But, even though I'm not feeling good, it's Thursday, baby. I did hit the water. So, anyways, what's up, Brandon? What's up, everybody? Appreciate it. This Thursday was gonna be a pretty good news, feel good event. Some of the stuff that we had, we were gonna have some great news released on the ABCP and all that, and there was some new stuff that was gonna come out that I'm gonna say this right now, and I'll say it. It's open. Yeah, does it seem like WTF Moments is gonna put the information first before the Army does it? Yes. We had information on what the BL You Can Be campaign was, but we respected some individuals and say, please don't post this out and please don't post the videos. Please follow the embargo, yada, yada, yada. Okay, we'll do that. We could do that. But for something like this is something that we just can't have a rollout for. Just put the information out. It just seems like lately there's been some gatekeeping when it comes to informing the troops what they need to fucking know. Doing some research and doing some, just normal shooting shit with veterans and stuff. I don't know if embargo is a public affairs embargo is when they they have, like, for instance, they give you the information, and if you're a member of the media or a public affairs organization, they will give you the information as long as you don't blurt it out. Because now it seems like the scoop when it comes to release the information. So I just gonna let you know that any information we put out that we know that the Army is gonna get thrown out like quick. There's not gonna be no show props, whatever. So hey, we didn't get the embargo. But we decided to be cool about the Be All You Can Be campaign, the new campaign star, and all that. So I just figured, just thought I'd let you know. It's just been who runs Bartertown exactly. Master Blaster runs Bartertown. So who's Master Blaster? Is that the little guy or Master Blaster, the big dude? I can't remember. Did you just say lately that there was a it was an embargo? Yeah, there was it. So okay, let me get some background stuff. I'm gonna give you guys some deets. People are gonna get like, oh, I can't believe you said that, but I don't give a shit. I'm fucking pretty pissed off right now. I know I'm trying to show it, and I'm trying to be sick, and I'm trying to be motivated while I have the show. But like I said, man flu fucks you up. Man flu, cold, whatever you want to call it. Allergies. I don't know what it is. All I know is that Baby Ice gave me some crud. Little booger head. So there was the way it works is that if there's a big release that's going to be out and they want to have all types of announcements, then what they do is the military, the public affairs, the office of the chief of public affairs will release all this information out to you, and they ask that you not, or they say, because that way you'll stay in their good graces, because if you blow it, then you won't be. They release a lot of information. They'll give you some information packets on how, what, when, where, why, of what the campaign is, or what a breaking news story is going to be about. They usually say, hey, this is going to be embargoed Friday. So an embargo means, hey, hold up. If you bust that embargo, then of course you'll be ostracized to the four winds as a media organization and all that. So yes, we know that you all know that we get the scoops pretty fucking easy. We have our J1. We have members of our staff that gets all the, if you start sneezing, I know. Dude, cause tell you what, if someone comes at me with a mask, just gonna say, I can't do the actions, and I don't want to get zucked. And we're talking about in the story tonight. I want to can be kind of serious. So we had information. We had it all. We had all the stuff, and we decided to follow we decided not to ruin the little teacup party that the Army was releasing to have information put out. So we just let the embargo go. That little star that you saw, that little star logo that we posted, and we said stealing our homework, and just as long as you don't make a copy, that was actually done by an NCO as a proposal for our new Army logo, which we liked. I mean, we thought it was pretty fucking cool. So that right there was the only thing that we were going to leak out, because it wasn't the Be All You Can Be star. Does that make sense? That wasn't going to be like the rebranding thing. So anyways, so now, yes, we're going to be talking about Fort Hood. We're going to be talking about domestic violence. So I was going to post all this stuff first to show videos and stuff like that, but I'd rather have individuals who have been affected by this that would not like to see that right at the beginning of the show. I would like to let you guys know that some of the material, when Janae shows up, she's going to be our guest co-host. So you know how we have Spanky, you know how the guys are doing the rotation, the guest co-host. Well, now I'm going to have a rotating guest co-host so we can shoot the shit. And she's going to be just like any other host, just shooting the shit. So she's going to be hanging out with me in a minute. So I wanted to preface this that, hey, there's going to be some topics and there's going to be some discussion that we're going to be talking about that I don't want individuals to be just shocked. So it's just kind of like a viewer discretion is advised type of thing. So we'll wait till the guest host on here. But yes, the story of Fort Hood. There was another dead soldier. And this was an Army story. This story, how it came out was rather odd. Was due to the fact that the Army, in its initial press release, just posted that there was a soldier that had passed away deceased. It was kind of vague. Well, then there was an update to that, an updated press release that gave a little bit more detail, but not so much. The family, however, spoke to Telemundo. And if you guys know that Telemundo is one of the leading, next to all the other ones were one of the leading, Spanish-speaking Latino based media, and it's so many layers to this. Exactly that paper you just right there. So many layers to this story. So right now, this is about Private Ana Balsadua Ruiz, a combat engineer assigned to the 91st Engineer Battalion at Fort Hood, Texas. So this story right here is what gets us, what gets kind of, what really, actually, really the biggest thing that pissed me off is the fact that, let me pop the article up right quick. You guys can see it. So once again, found dead soldier found faced sexual harassment. So what the military's released, what the Army's released, albeit small details, Telemundo released a little bit more, stating the fact that the whole story that Telemundo released was a little bit different and a little bit more elaborate of what happened. To the point to where it now raises questions on just what the hell's happening. If you follow Spanish speaking channels or whatever, if you speak Spanish or something like that, as I do, same thing, just freaking listening in and all this other stuff. So when I heard the story and I saw it on Telemundo, and I saw the article said that, there's a lot there that she was this and it was that. So I waited until the Telemundo story came out and waited to see what they were talking about, because it was like what they call breaking noticias and shit like that. And so what Telemundo released was, and this is a statement from Telemundo, from the family of the soldier, Fernanda Balsadua Ruiz, 20, was found dead this Monday in a maintenance bay at the Fort Hood military base in Texas. Her family reported to Noticias Telemundo. Those responsible for the base preliminarily attributed the death to suicide, as explained by the family, to which who's obviously looking for answers to what happened. In the statement sent to Noticias Telemundo, the military base, now mind you, now I'm saying that the military base, the Army said this. Sadly, the 1st Cavalry Division Trooper Ana Balsadua Ruiz, comm engineer, served in the division for the last 15 months. And Army CID and the chain of command are actively investigating the facts and circumstances surrounding this death. The chain of command is in contact with the family and will update them any information that will be released. In addition, providing support and resources to the family and the troopers who served with her. That's what they said. Balsadua was born in Mexico and a naturalized American, and enlisted in the Army in 2020. And although due to the pandemic, she began her military training a year later at the military base. And she was going to fulfill her 3-year contract in August, but according to her father, she recently told him that she was no longer comfortable, and that her whole life was wrong, and that she wanted to die. So her father, who lives in California, spoke to her the last time on Saturday, and on Sunday, she was no longer receiving messages. So in a statement to let me fast forward it right here. Yeah, he told this is right here. Her about what this is. I'm just gonna go through all the BS right here, right quick. So, in a statement sent to Noticias Telemundo, again, that's the whole thing. I'm reading it again. I'm just double checking and stuff like that. The case joins also a long list of deaths and violent acts in Fort Hood in recent years, among which the murder of Vanessa Guillen stands out in 2020, which uncovered a scandal of sexual harassment and abuse in the armed forces. That year alone, 23 deaths were recorded at the base of 36,000 soldiers. Now, mind you, this is Telemundo talking about this. According to 2021 data, Army CID's investigation, more than 50 suicides and 11 homicides at Fort Hood in the past 5 years. Her mother put this quote out that just it infuriated me. Her mother quoted, "Everybody wants me to sleep with them." Alejandra Ruiz Zarco, the young woman's mother, told Telemundo that her daughter had told her a few weeks ago that an Army superior was harassing her and that she alleged received constant sexual advances from other people on the base. Told me, Mom, everyone wants me to sleep with them, but they're pretty much assholes. They're assholes, the woman explained on Wednesday. So, the Army released an update. This is from the Public Affairs Office. Is that the Army CID officials confirmed no foul play evident in the death of Private Balsa Ruiz. But here's the thing. Telemundo, if it was they were given that information, then I usually think that the Army should have put out that same information. I understand that there's a lot of things got to be held, but this is where the public affairs practices that really pisses me off on how we provide it. It's almost archaic, again, with the gatekeeping of information. The Department of the Army Criminal Investigation Division officials have confirmed that at this point in the investigation into the death of Private Ana Balsa Ruiz, that no foul play was evident and will remain under investigation at Army CID. Will continue to conduct a thorough investigation and gather all evidence and facts to ensure they discover exactly what happened. Or transpired, I should say. I've been speaking English and Spanish like all day about all this stuff. So you have to forgive me if I drop a couple of Spanish words or I get stutter on my English. Information related to any possible harassment will be addressed and investigated fully. Quote, loss of any one of our soldiers is a tragedy and no different than the death of Private Ana Balsa Ruiz. Our hearts and our thoughts go out to the family and friends and colleagues of Ana. We have remained in constant contact with both parents and will continue to keep them updated. And this is from Christopher Dempsey, the commander, Colonel Christopher Dempsey, the commander of the 1st Armored Brigade Combat Team, 1st Cavalry Division. They lost a trooper. Let's see, lost a trooper. It's like the press release is repeating itself a little bit. What the hell? Who's that? We got some Pakistan in here. What's up, Pakistan? Abu Bakr, Pakistan. Abu Bakr Jat. Are you like spamming? Are you like legit in here? Let's see. Where you talking to us from? Let's see. Which page are you? Oh, you're on the radio page. Okay. What's up? What's up there? Studied at the University of Punjab, huh? Yep, there you go. Hey, Musa, go to the radio chat and see what's up with that with that account right there. You see, public follows public posts. We have a follower, so just see what's up. So Davis Winky from the Army Times did a story. An editor's note, obviously, of course, if veterans and service members are experiencing a mental health emergency, call the Veteran Crisis Line at 988 or 1-800-273-8255. And select option 1 for a VA staffer. So pretty much Davis Winky again. Yep, radio page. First time somebody said your name? Well, I mean, I could just say Salam Alaikum. I could say that, right? Salam Alaikum. What was I going to say? Yeah, so it's pretty much along the same line of what the Noticias Telemundo. A little bit more paraphrasing, a little more details on that. But yeah, so Davis Winky, if you look at our page and if you look at the article that I just posted up, then you can definitely see. As a matter of fact, I'll post that. I'll post that in the chat so that way you guys can see the article. So, anyways, so with that, I'm here. We're ready to rock and roll, and I promised someone that I would wait a little bit longer to get on here. So let me get her on here so that way we can say the hi. And let me get her in here. You could talk, Janae, so you can see everybody saying hi to you right now.
Oh, hello.
Okay, hang on.
How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Let me get you on here. So now, so Janae Sergio, if you guys don't know, she's also a guest. She's been a guest several times on this, and so here, let me put her up on there. So welcome, Janae. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, man, what a story. What's I don't know. again, I'm kind of at a loss for words. I know I was angry tweeting earlier. I don't. What the fuck, dude? What's?
Yeah. It's been kind of crazy trying to really get the word out about the story. Like Jorge Cavazos,
Yeah,
you
that,
know, and
yeah.
the assault is that's where we're at now, right? I see
No,
that
no.
you had already covered
Yeah. We're gonna cover that in a minute, but I just wanted to get your take on what's happening with this case at Fort Hood.
Oh, we're starting with the Fort Hood.
Yeah.
I think I saw you had already kind of started talking about Anna's case. You know, like how much awareness do we have to raise? And at what point do we actually start to look at the justice system and you know what are the driving factors for this behavior to continue, whether it is you know, a woman being sexually harassed that to the point where it drives her to commit suicide, or being sexually harassed and, you know, having something on her leadership that she's going to bring out, and then all of a sudden she disappears and it's a suicide, right?
Right.
I mean, how many deaths have to come out of the military linked to sexual assault or sexual harassment? And how many times do we have to hear about young girls going to Fort Hood and not making it out alive? Not just young girls, there's other members that are also not making it out alive. But what is going on? Why does this keep happening?
Right. It's just, I'm just, you know, my biggest thing is that are we recruiting a bunch of fucking incels? Is that what it is? You know what I mean? Is that what's happening? Is that we're now our recruitment factor is now we're just taking anybody. We're not screening these dudes or fucking what? Because it's.
And that's something I'm hearing. I'm hearing that there's, you know, the moral waivers. So I came in on an education waiver.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this in the past, right? Like
Yep.
I had to get an education waiver in order to come in. I didn't have a high school diploma because I was homeless, and I was able to get a waiver and come in and later on get my GED. And the military was great for me. It changed my life.
Yep.
So I don't have an issue with these waivers. But when we're talking about moral waivers, we're talking about waivers that include you know, criminal backgrounds that could be potentially dangerous to those who are serving side by side with you. That's something to be concerned about. Not doing, you know, evaluations on people to make sure that they are mentally stable to be in the military. It's just the perpetuation of violence and not being safe within our own ranks. How can you expect us to go out and serve this country and protect this country when we're not even feeling safe with those around us?
Right. Jason says, what the fuck's a moral waiver? Well, moral waiver is if you have, like, if you got busted for like smoking weed or some shit like that, or you have a little infraction that the Army would generally not bring you in for, whatever. I mean, just small. I mean, it runs the gamut, and it's just, it always went back. It's like we're getting messages like, again, which I keep fucking thinking about Vanessa Guillen's story. She was being sexually assaulted. She was being sexually harassed. She was being bothered. And now what really makes you mad is the messaging of this. The messaging between the public affairs of the Army and the messaging of the media, like Noticias Telemundo. When they reported this story with a lot more detail than the press release from the Army.
Definitely. And just to kind of go back to the moral waivers, you know, I remember when I was serving, there was a lot of people that would come in, they were offered jail or military. That's kind of some of the stuff that we're dealing with, right? So it's like people who have the option. You can either go to jail or you can go in the military. Well, maybe they should have gone to jail.
Right, exactly. Yeah, or not.
Or maybe there's some of them that probably shouldn't have gotten that option because now they're given free reign within the ranks, and you know. But yeah, as far as the story that's coming out, you know, I think her family had done a preliminary kind of interview right when they found out this just happened this week.
Yeah.
The details, I think, even on the day that she was found are still a little fuzzy. But it just happened early this week. So her family's still kind of grappling with the idea. And somehow, you know, her mom is in Mexico. So somehow I think Telemundo was able to get an interview with her.
Right.
And she shared those details in that interview. Now, I think that she would have liked to be a little bit more crafted in what she had said, and it was just a little too soon for her to be conducting an interview. So I'm curious to see how the details progress as we move forward. There has been an advocacy group that has already been essentially selected by the family, and that's the Pink Berets. That's the advocacy group that I work very closely with. So the Pink Berets are now representing the family to make sure that anyone who is really trying to come in and get interviews or to help with getting any type of support from the chain of command, just really helping them through the process, because families aren't prepared for this. So the Pink Berets has stepped up and is stepping in to help the family now to make sure that they're able to share the information that is the right information to share, but then also to get the support from the chain of command to request the right types of investigations, and then also just kind of reaching out to Congress for support as well, and the community.
Well, Stephanie,
this get shoved under the rug if there is foul play.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so Stephanie Gata, by the way, is going to be on the Pink Berets the next week with the smoke pit. So with the radar.
Perfect. Yep.
So yeah,
Stephanie Gata, she's the founder. She's also a Navy veteran like myself. She and I here live in San Antonio, and we're very close. And I was really happy to hear that they were the ones that the family decided to work with, because they worked closely with Vanessa Guillen's family. So Anna's family has been very smart in saying, hey, I want to work with the same group that helped Vanessa Guillen's family. And I think that was a very smart move on their behalf.
Definitely. Most definitely. You know, a lot of it too is that I think that, you know, you're talking about how did the parents deal with this? How could you now? I mean, because we have you and I have kids that are old of age to join the military. What?
I mean, I'm a couple years off, but yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that's why I was kind of like party, because I know my oldest was like, nah, fuck that, I'm not joining. But I know, you know, because we have, you know, daughters of joining age or getting close to joining age. They see this shit. What's your daughter saying?
My daughters have no desire to join the military. They've read my book. They understand my experiences. Look, the military changed my life. I don't hate the military by any means.
Of course.
The military changed my life. I joined from a homeless shelter. Unfortunately, though, I did experience sexual assault in the military, and that is in my book. And so they do know about that. And that's why I advocate, though, so fiercely for some of these changes to happen, is because I love the military so much. And I know there's potential for people to come in and change their story for the better. Mm-hmm. And they shouldn't have to worry about coming in and having to live within a ranks that is extremely dangerous for them. You know, we shouldn't be losing people right here at home on base. And so it's got to be there's got to be change. And my opinion is the change really has to be stricter screenings as we allow people in. And with the recruiting crisis now, I don't know that that's going to happen. But the big change is with the justice system. When people know that there are going to be consequences for their actions, they think twice.
I also think that or exactly, Eric says there's always a few scumbags that ruin it for everyone. Exactly that.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And that's the problem is there's amazing people in the military. So many. The majority are really good people. And these are the ones that are ruining it for the perception, the society's perception of the military.
Yep. Now, and there were some changes where they're going to remove everything from the chain of command, or when something's going to happen. I still think, and this is just me being, I'm an optimist. I'm an optimist when it comes to new policy changes to see how it enacts. But I also immediately become pessimistic when I see something like this happen again. And you're like, dude, is anybody going to fucking, it's like, okay, Vanessa Guillen was a huge lesson learned for what happened. And it shouldn't have taken the death of a soldier to be an AAR comment. You know what I mean? That's the worst thing we should have done. And we saw some statements, we saw some removal of commands. But this time, this should be, heads should fucking roll. I mean, this punishment should be more severe. I'm honestly thinking that for some stuff like this, that if it's a dereliction of duty, and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago on Sergeant's Time, is that the Air Force, and you know this in the Navy, The Air Force and the Navy, if you look the wrong way in command, you're done. You're just immediately out. Well, let's just look at this and see how this investigation and guess who changed out, and well, he's going to be reassigned. The Navy, nah, dude, you're screwed. You didn't go. You bumped a boat in port, you're gone. You freaking, you looked at.
I mean, that's a pretty severe thing, bumping a boat in port, but.
I'm saying, but it's just like when you're. Well, I'm just saying, like anything that happens in
the
the way.
Navy, right? So you're right. Like everything is a severe thing for us.
So yeah, exactly.
I just made your point.
Well, yeah, because nobody freaking. I mean, because think about it. Nobody wants to. I mean, you're kind of thinking about it, bumping a boat in the ocean. Okay, so you just bumped a boat, but these are massive. Aircraft carriers and ships that could just sink other ships if they bump into another one. So it's like literally
like bumper boats. In the
ocean. Exactly. Yeah. Blah, 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 and then just like hitting each other. But my thing is that the Air Force just recently relieved individuals in the missile command, the individuals that launched nuclear missiles for lack of confidence. I have yet. I think if you were to compare how many leaders have been relieved compared to Air Force, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, I don't see as much as you see it I don't see it in the Army as much as you see in the other services.
No. And, I am curious to follow Anna's case because they did just make that change to the justice system, and the investigations have been taken outside of the commands. That was very recent. So I'm curious to see, this should not have gotten to the point where it is, but I am curious to see how they handle it from this point on. And, the statement alone already shows that they were quick to put something out.
Yes.
And that's good.
That is good.
And as much as I believe her family that she said she was being sexually harassed, I do believe that. But I'm not so quick to jump on the train of this wasn't suicide, there was foul play. I'm curious to see what happened.
Yes.
I'm curious to hear what happened.
Yep.
And also, the possibility that it could have been, but it could have also been caused by harassment. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I'm just curious to hear how this investigation plays out and if it's different from the ones we've seen in the past. And I say that because with, Denisha Montgomery's case,
Yep.
which is the young soldier who was found dead in Germany that we've been covering for the last couple months. I know that there were times where journalists were trying to put out stories on it, and the Secretary of Defense or the Secretary of the Army came out and said something along the lines of like the bad press is what's causing our recruiting numbers, and it's like, no, it's not the coverage that's the problem, it's the incidents.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah. Well, I mean, she in Hawaii when she had her little town hall meeting, and she even said she
called you guys out.
She called us out. Like, whoa. What do we do? We didn't do this shit. Yeah, we didn't bust a leak in the freaking water supply with the fuel and the BAH crisis and the cola. That's not us. We're, like you said, we're literally reporting this stuff. Mm-hmm. And if you're reporting,
we're just sharing it because
yeah.
People need to know. And honestly, how many years did we watch these things get shoved under the rug and good people pushed out of the military?
Yeah.
Again, we're talking recruiting, but we also need to talk retention, right? Are we retaining the right people? And when we have a justice system or a system that doesn't protect the good people, we're losing them. And who are we keeping?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Not saying everybody is bad. I'm just saying, we're pushing out really good people who could stay in and serve. So it's not the media coverage, in my opinion, that is causing recruiting numbers. It's these incidents and how they're handled.
Correct.
That's the most important piece, is how the aftermath of how they're handled. Accidents happen, mistakes happen, bad choices happen. But how is it handled by the chain of command, by the people that we trust to protect us? And I talk a lot about this with sexual assault in the military, right? And sometimes the aftermath of how we're treated is actually more traumatizing than the incident itself, because you're essentially stuck to stay within the zone of combat for your situation, right? You're stuck amongst that person that harmed you. And then it's compounded by retaliation and isolation and victim blaming. And that's why the numbers of how many who have been assaulted are so high, of those people being pushed out within, I think it's 24% are pushed out within 7 months of them reporting that they were assaulted. Why would that be the case? Why wouldn't it be the other way around?
Right.
Did the assaulting.
Right.
So,
and a lot of it too is I think is upbringing as well. It's like the guys that the guys that are coming in, the guys that are doing this shit. I'm not gonna beat up on the guys, but the majority of the shit's being done by fucking guys. Because the next topic we're gonna talk about is about Jorge Cavazos, and I'm just letting you guys know this is just trigger warning. Viewer discretion if advised. If you have ever been the victim of domestic violence, I have known people that have domestic violence that you hear their story, but you hear the story, but you never see it. Well, this story we're about ready to talk about, we've seen it. We are seeing it play. So there's I'll let you go ahead and do it, and then we'll play the video.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into that in a minute, because when we start talking about that, I want to talk about how the victim blaming still goes on, even though you have concrete proof in front of your face, and you still are trying to find a way to twist the narrative. But as far as Anna's case, I just want to, it is a newly, it just happened. And I'm cautiously optimistic that the Army has had, so many opportunities to kind of show us that they're gonna give a fast, integrity-based investigation. Curious to see if that's what's going to happen with Anna's case, and that if her family is going to get the support that they deserve. And we will be standing by to make sure of that. And just to make sure that we elevate her voice and whatever it is that she had to endure or experience. And honestly, this situation at Fort Hood, it has to stop. It just has to stop.
Yep. Well, it's the thing that really struck me was the suicide part of what happened. It's that connecting right there, because it wasn't it's like where does a soldier go at that point to where they feel, where are they at in their mind, where they feel like they just can't do anything, where they have to in their lives. So it's,
and I'm curious to hear the details about that, because I think some more details are going to come out soon, and there's some questions that will be asked.
Yeah, of course.
Regarding the what the family has been told already.
Yeah, we're the team is already, like, I'm not saying we're wargaming or we're speculating, but we're just like, why, how,
in the maintenance bay.
Yeah, in the maintenance bay, found in the maintenance bay. She's been a private, like, for this long. What's been going on? Why wasn't she promoted? What? And then she has the text messages going to her family. What's the Jesus Christ, man.
I read one of them said that her family was like, we'll come and get you. Like, that's how dire it was for her. So, exactly. And again, so that could lend to, her mental health deteriorating. And, but so that should be part of the investigation. And I think that's where we take issue with the suicide rulings when they come out is, but what was surrounding that? And are we looking into that? We talk a lot about suicide awareness, and I want to make this clear that we don't talk enough about the behaviors that lead up to it. Correct. How do we treat people? How do we treat the people around us? And that's important, because you can keep talking about suicide all day long, the act of it, but what leads up to that? And so I'm curious to know, was she actually being harassed? Did she feel like there was nowhere else to go?
Yeah.
I'm curious to know if that.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I will just say, hey, shout out to Fort Hood for putting a first statement out and then an update. Yeah. Quick.
Yep. Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. I'm going to be open on this, because I'm not going to. So yeah.
Yeah, because the Secretary of Army is watching you.
Yeah, so are we. Everyone is watching you. See, that's another. Now everybody's watching you. So let's talk about Jorge. And again, I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna post this right here. Me and Janae have seen this video so many times, so we're gonna let you guys see it, and we'll just let you guys watch. Can you tell us the story about Jorge, and who was the one that first discovered the story about Jorge?
So it was actually the first person that I think broke the story about Jorge Cavazos. You pronounce the names a lot better than I do. I think in my video I called him George.
George, yeah, George.
It's crazy because I'm married to a Brazilian. I speak Portuguese.
I'm about to say, don't you speak Portuguese? You couldn't figure that out? I'm surprised your old man didn't say, hey, what's up?
He hasn't seen it yet, so he'll probably be like, Emily. But so the story broke by a user on. It actually broke through the fitness community. So it wasn't through the military community, even though he's National Guard, and the video shows him beating his wife in uniform. But it was actually the fitness community that broke it because he's in that community.
Gotcha.
And the username on Instagram is goob_u2. So GOOB_u2. And so he initially broke the story kind of linking the guy more so towards like the fitness community, like, hey guys, look what's happening in our community. And he showed the graphic video of Jorge beating his wife while he was wearing the uniform, and she's not fighting back at all. She just kind of goes into she just kind of succumbs to the situation and just lets him, like, probably just hoping that he would hurry up and get it over with.
Exactly.
They broke the story a few days ago, and before they did share the story, they made sure that she was out of the home safe and that she approved and was okay. And I'm assuming she's the one who gave them the videos to share. Jorge was arrested on March 13th, and he was bailed out on March 14th, so the next day. And there is actually video footage of his arraignment, I guess, where he's asking the judge to lower his bond because he tries to claim that she was fighting back, and the judge just kind of like puts her hands up, like, enough, like, don't even go there with me.
Exactly.
So allegedly his mom was the one who bailed him out, and his trial date is set for, I believe, April 20th. So he's free on the streets right now until April 20th. And so we are rallying around his wife to make sure that she is safe, and that he doesn't go and this doesn't end tragically like it often does.
Right, exactly.
So,
well, let's pull up the video, and then we'll again, if you've seen this video before, or you've not seen this video, or if you just want to mute it for about a minute, and then that's fine. It runs for about a minute 19 seconds. So if you just want to step away, but I think you should really watch this. And it's, again, I just want to put out that this is, for your discretion advised. I recommend to any survivor that if you're dealing with something like this, that you might want to turn away, or if you have an issue, please, I just want to respect the wishes of that. So let's go ahead and play this.
The video I'm about to show you is extremely disturbing and contains domestic violence. Please tune away if that's something you don't want to see.
Stop taking my shit. Stop taking my shit. Stop taking my shit. Stop taking my shit. You gonna take my shit?
The man in the video is George Cavazos. He's out of Austin, Texas, and trains at a Big Tex gym, which I think may be a problem for him going forward from this video. Here he is front and center in a photograph for the USPA Texas Mustang Stampede last year. George, you're in the military, and I hope this video ruins your fucking life, because you're a piece of shit. I and my followers are going to do everything we can to make sure that everybody and everything that affects your life sees this video and knows that it was you. I was also disturbed to see that you follow me, so you can go ahead and undo that, bro. I don't want you following me. I don't want anybody like you following me. We don't hit women. So, George, I think you should learn to keep your hands to yourself. If that's not the case, myself and lots of other people, I'm sure, in the Austin area and the Big Tex gym can show you how to do that. The video I'm about to show you is...
All right. So, each of those audible sounds that you heard, those were strikes against his wife. Just want to shout out for Goob_you2. Goob, appreciate it, man. For bringing it, not only bringing this up, but yeah, you're right. We could definitely show old fucking Jorge what's up.
Yeah, he's amazing, and he's staying involved throughout the entire process, and they're very protective of the wife, making sure that people aren't bothering her or anything like that. They have raised funds to help her get a place. He did post a follow-up video where there was more, and it was actually even more disturbing.
Yes.
His follow-up video. So I definitely recommend people go over to his page and take a look at that. But yeah, he's been incredible in raising awareness but following through and making sure that she's getting the support as well.
Yeah, that's one thing I'll say about Goob. He's been, I think I've seen, because what Goob does, Goob_you2, what he does is within the fitness community, he is like It's almost like how we like to bust out stolen valor. He does the same thing, but for the fitness gurus, for the fitness people. He highlights fakes in the fitness community. He highlights whatever, and it just so happened that this gym stuff just crossed his freaking path, and it was like specifically, how do you spell this dirtbag's last name? Jorge Cavazos.
Cavazos, Cavazos.
There you go. I posted it up there. Exposing fitness predators. There you go. Jorge Cavazos.
There you go. And then he is he's on Instagram under Cavazos_lifts. He hasn't removed his page, although he does have comments turned off. He's in the National Guard out of Austin. I think I posted that on my video.
Did. Yeah. So here's another thing. Everyone's asking me, because when I was sent the video, everyone said, "Hey, Ice, how come you're not sending the cops, or how come the military's not jumped in on this?" The chain of command is aware. The chain of command is aware. Now understand that in Texas, well, actually not Texas, but not only in Texas, but the U.S. If you are convicted of domestic violence, you fall what's under the Lautenberg Act, which is basically you're not authorized to own, possess, sell, or have any firearm for domestic violence. So once this process is through, even for a misdemeanor, he could lose his right to carry a firearm, which will then in turn remove him from the National Guard because he can't carry a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it, because he wasn't done on guard status, he wasn't done while he was drilling. If he was on the guard status, if he was on status at the time, who knows? I mean, but he was him being in uniform. I don't know what the fuck he was doing in uniform. Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that. They're like, well, because he wasn't active, like he, it shouldn't affect the military. But he was literally in uniform, so he must have been. And it wasn't just the first one. I think some of the other videos he was also in uniform.
Right.
So yeah, I think he might have actually been on active duty status at the time when he did it.
Well, that's why, again, I'm glad the lift community, I guess you would say, and nothing wrong with that. I appreciate. Shout out, Goob. Goob, you too, man. It's awesome. But the military side of the house, remember the Lautenberg Act. If you're convicted of domestic violence, then that's it. You can't carry a weapon anymore. You can't possess a weapon anymore. You can't buy, sell, or purchase a weapon at all. Matter of fact, you have to get rid of your guns. And that's the Lautenberg Act. That's not, you don't hit fucking women, dude.
Yep. And I want to kind of take us back to October of 22. A lot of people are saying, well, he was arrested and, he's not really a threat anymore. Why doesn't she just get a protection order? So, piece of paper is not going to save someone's life.
Nope.
So I do want to kind of just take us back to October of 2022 with Takara Hightower. She was actually married to a Navy sailor, and she was experiencing domestic violence. She had NCIS in the home. They were in the home issuing a restraining order, a protection order, and her husband walked in, and while she had her child in her lap, murdered her in front of the NCIS agent. So anyone who says, well, he was already arrested, or, he's not going to do it because, he's being watched, or there's a protection order, any of that, it doesn't matter. Like, he's still a threat. Every day that he's walking the street after seeing those videos, this man is a threat, especially to that woman.
Automatically, should anybody give her a gun, or anybody give her something to protect herself? Because if anything else, immediately any domestic violence survivor should be handed every method of a cord to protect themselves. And I am talking about firearms because of that reason right there. Because the system doesn't just, there's so many different states that have the most fucked up domestic violence and restraining order laws that individuals that like you just said, she couldn't protect herself. Mm-hmm. And she thought that the NCIS agent, she probably felt that she could have her guard down, and the NCIS agent, fuck, you see it on TV. Don't they have guns? Aren't they there to fucking do some shit?
He was cool. They said that he was cool, and that's why they let him in. She's literally a domestic violence survivor at the time.
Yeah.
Issuing a protection order, and the NCIS agents were like, he's cool, let him in.
Oh man, does he have a history? Somebody's asking. So what did the judge say with Cavazos, with Jorge? What was he? Because I remember I saw the video and there was more video to it, and I didn't want to post up because I don't want to show somebody getting the shit slapped out of them. But I wanted to highlight that part that she gave Jorge that, like, what? Because he was trying to victim blame.
Like, stopped him. Yeah, she was just like, stop. And then the video doesn't really go on, but he was charged with, I'm trying to pull it up to see kind of what his charge, assault with a family member. And then there's something else here that I don't understand what that is, but it's like breath something. So I think maybe they did like a breathalyzer or something. I'm not sure what that means. But it was assault of a family member. The docket is online. He was arrested in Travis County. So anybody who wants to look that up, at 403rd District Court. So the information is there. And I posted a screenshot of the whatever this thing is. the booking information.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you could find people like that. All I gotta do is always ask you for fucking Janae, help find somebody. You can find it. You can find a mugshot from a mile away. So
I have that on my videos, and then it's been kind of circulating the internet as well. So he is being charged. And then, like I said, he was bonded out, $15,000 bond, and his court date is scheduled for, let me just see if I can pull that up again. Here it is, April 20th. April 20th at 9 a.m. is his court date at 403rd District Court.
Yeah, that the as soon as he said, "Well, you don't know what she did to me," I just stopped. I just immediately.
Not just him, but people on the internet. I'm like, I cannot. Anybody who's watched this, everybody that's listening right now, you saw the video. How in anyone's mind can you think, what could she have done to deserve it? She's not even fighting back. And there has been suspicions because he keeps saying, I think, like, don't take my shit, or give me back my shit, something like that. Don't take my shit. So there's been suspicions circulating, and I don't know this, but people saying that maybe there was like a steroid issue, and maybe because she's also a bodybuilder, maybe she had taken his stuff.
Wow.
So that's what's circulating of what people think maybe would have led up to that type of rage. And some people who have seen roid rage are saying that looks very consistent with it. I don't know. I don't specialize in that. I don't know anything about that, how that affects the body.
I don't know how that works either. Ira says that, just real quick, shout out from Ira. I love what you were doing to expose the dirtbag here, Janae Sergio. But do you ever worry about retribution of any kind from these scumbags?
Yes. Maybe naturally. I live in Texas, so I'm, prepared in case anything comes near me. But yeah, I mean, this is something that, but it takes courage, right? And you've got to have, it's really crazy. I've actually talked about this a couple times, and you've heard me say this, is that standing up for domestic violence survivors or survivors of sexual assault, that shouldn't require someone to be afraid for their safety. But you and I both know that just in me speaking out against these, I've actually dealt with very not life-threatening, but very dangerous situations of people coming after me just bystanders, people that weren't even in the conversation.
I know. Oh, man. Yeah, all of us. I mean, you and I have been like, we comment something and say, oh, that's fucked up. And the next thing you know, here come the trolls. And you're like
the same people. It's like they're just sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and if yes, she does have methods to protect herself, but she also has a good circle of friends to assist. Let's put it that way.
Yes, a very good circle.
Yeah. So she's secured. Not to mention the fact that that now everyone's talking about when the court date is and when we're all going to do a trip to go to it.
Yeah.
They said that.
I didn't intentionally say when that was.
No, it just slipped. Who cares? What was that night? What was it? 420? You said 420. It's exactly that. Somebody posted the hotel rates for the areas during the trial.
Oh my god!
Just for science, because we want to understand the judicial system. That's what it is. It's a judicial system field trip. Hey, we're gonna take a break right quick, so that way we can get a drink, hit the bathroom and stuff like that. But we'll be right back. Me and Janae again. She's a guest co-host, so She's not a guest. She's not a guest. She's joining in the fun because since CQ and everybody else gets to have guest co-hosts, I want one too. So, anyways,
you guys make sure you tell him you want me here permanently, and I'll jump on.
All right, we're gonna take a break. Shots.
What is this Facebook Live? I've never heard of this shit.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Sword's time. I'm Ice, your host, with my other guest host, Janae Sergio.
Hello.
Yo, what up? Man. So pretty serious topics we're talking again. Guys, gals, 988, if you ever it's hard to fucking have this discussion, but like Spanky said in the chats, it has to happen. It has to have this conversation so that way your brothers and sisters know what's going on within the force. It's just unfortunate that it's gotten to this fucking point to where, fuck, man. Again, I don't know. It just breaks my heart when I think about a soldier having to end their life and for something that they feel that it could be. I don't know. I just can't even process it, man. It's like, you know, the they're saying how they say suicide is is a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Yeah.
So again, it's just fucking frustrating, man.
It's really sad, just being in that state of despair. I know I've had, moments in my life where I felt suicidal, and even moments where I attempted. And it's just, you get to that point where you just feel like the world would be better off without you, and there's really nothing left for you here. And to anyone who's feeling like that, especially if you're in a work environment or a command environment where you just feel like you can't get out of it, and there's no way to get out of it. But reach out, because we do have social media, and there are people who are willing, just like Goob_U2 stepped up to try and help. There are people who would be willing to step up and try to help you in your situation. So try to, if you can, look outside of that small situation that's making you feel confined, and look for people like us who are willing to step in and really be your anchor when you need it.
Right. Well, you know what? I would respect somebody. How do I say this? I would respect somebody more to talk to me about it, to help me walk them through whatever they're dealing with, and I will respect them more. And I'll just tell you right now, I will not. There's nothing embarrassing about it. There's nothing embarrassing at all. So it's just again, dial 998, or you hit the inbox at WTF Moments, WTF Nation Radio, or you can hit Janae Sergio's Perfectly Flawed website. We're always around, so you have a network, and everything that we discuss, and me and Janae have had some good discussions with other influencers. Is that, yeah, exactly. That's 988 just isn't for veterans cause. That's right. It's for everyone. But we keep our comms secure. If there's an issue that is happening, and I say, hey, Janae, this individual would like to talk to somebody, and look, and Janae brought this. Me and Janae talked about this before. I'm a guy. I'm a guy. I don't hold the. I'm not equipped. I'm not because I'm not a woman. I don't know that other side, and I do know that there are men that deal with it, but the majority of the statistics are more women. Even though there's stats for guys, but there's also, but the majority of us are women. So it's hard for me to discuss this. That's also why I wanted you to come out and hang out with me too, because I wanted that woman's perspective. Because as a man, I can't, you know what I mean? I'm not equipped for that shit. You know what I mean? That's just not me. So I figure I'd leave it to you.
And I respect that. And I think that it's important for us to acknowledge that we are different, and but we all bring unique qualities to the table, and unique perspectives to the table. And you and I have talked a lot about the conversation even surrounding MST, and I know that's not just what this is about. Although somebody did point out that that's something I talk a lot about in the comments, so I appreciate that you know that.
Yeah, exactly.
But one of the things that really, you and I work well together with, and also some of the other influencers in our community, is not creating a polarized conversation where it's like us against you. we're all in this together. We all want it to end.
Yep.
And we have to be willing to listen to one another's perspective. So if you ask me a question that might feel triggering to me, I have to be healed enough to be able to receive that question and try to empathize with where it's coming from instead of just attacking you and being like, you don't know, you have no idea.
Exactly.
No,
Exactly.
you know, and so the only way that we can truly bring this topic to light and truly make change is if we're willing to actually listen to one another and understand one another. And that's why I appreciate that you do bring me on, and that we bounce these situations off of one another so that we can help people with the proper avenue of, hey, look, I can't help them. I'm not equipped for this. Maybe you can, right? And that's what we try to do.
Well, and like I said before, it's not because I don't want to move that person along or blow that person off. It's because I am a man, and I'll just say it. I mean, I'm a man, so there are things that that the majority of the domestic violence assholes are dudes, and so immediately in a sensitive situation like this, that's when I told you, I was like, I feel more comfortable with you speaking to this, because as a man, I represent what they're afraid of, or it could be, would it be a comment, saying, tick, eyebrow raise, any smile, laugh, smirk, hand gesture could immediately just bring back something that as a guy, that, you know, because we're guys, that I
question, right? Like, well,
yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes you do that to me. You're like, "Oh, what do you mean, Ken? Shut up!" You know, or you're joking with me about it. But it's just like, but so yeah, it's to me, it's like the conversation that caused it. Like you said, it's an uncomfortable elephant in the room that needs to be fucking addressed. Because bros, what the fuck are you doing? And again, I keep shouting out to Goob, you too. Goob, you too, bro. Shout out to you if you're listening to this or you're watching it. I'm pretty sure people will start doing some clips or reels. Again, that to me, that's a man thing right there. That's what men should. That's what men should do. You check other men on that aspect.
Yeah. And we appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, we're not saying that, you know, oh, you can't be yourself. It's just that right there. I'm glad he busted out Jorge.
Yeah.
So.
And you know, I think he God willing, is saving her life by doing that.
Yeah.
Because having so many eyes on the situation hopefully will get her out of the situation safely enough.
Yeah.
And then he can be prosecuted. But a lot of times when you just kind of whisper to one person who doesn't know what to do. But I think for this situation, a lot of people that have resources have reached out. I've definitely provided resources, you know, with her being a military spouse, available resources like Military One Source to help get her out of that situation. And they've been able to raise enough money to get her into a place that she can be safe.
That's awesome.
So it means a lot to have somebody step up and raise awareness, and it really does help frame the conversation and really raise better awareness when we break down those walls and we all just communicate as one instead of attacking one another.
Right.
I think I remember when we were talking about, because, you know, I do lean a little bit more towards the MST conversation. And so reel me back in if I get too far down that.
No worries. But
I just think back to, we were having dinner with a group of people, and we were talking about being out at, you know, we as service members, we all go out drinking together. And we were talking about how, you know, girls will be offered a drink and they have to take the drink, right? Because if they don't take the drink, then they're, you know, a bitch, they're stuck up or whatever it is. And so society has kind of created this norm where we have to take the drink. And then next thing you know, we're in a situation that we don't want to be in. And we maybe like later think, well, I was kind of, those drinks were pushed on me so that I would let my guard down. And this situation happened that I would have not wanted to happen otherwise. And that person was like, well, then why didn't you just say no to the drink?
Yeah.
And I was like, I could have been defensive, right? I could have been like, you have no idea what it feels like to be a what, but I was like, okay, I can see that's a pretty normal question. And it makes sense that you would ask that because you didn't grow up with the social norms that we grew up with, which is that saying no paints us in a bad light or makes us look like a bitch or isolates us. So I was able to educate him. And when I did, he was like, okay, now that you said that, now I wish I had known that when I was out with my counterparts while I was still active, and I would see these things happen, because I would have said, hey, she said no once, that's enough. So then he was like, I would have known to intervene when somebody was pressuring a girl to take a drink. Right. So just being able to have that conversation and share our perspectives without attacking each other, it then raises awareness to where people are able to say, hey, you know what? No, I know what this is. I know what's happening now because I've heard the women's perspective on why she said this. And so like with the case with Jorge, a lot of people are commenting and saying, why didn't she just leave? And what did she do to deserve it? I'm telling you, those comments are out there. It's unbelievable. One guy said, oh my gosh, I have to read this because this was unbelievable. I don't know if you saw, I posted on my story.
You got like 15 stories up, so I don't know which one you.
Yeah. There's a lot going on right now. Yeah. This guy said, in my experience, polite women are rarely abused. Polite women are rarely abused. So that's the kind of stuff we deal with when we're trying to raise awareness or get somebody out of a situation. What does that even mean?
Oh, I know what he's trying to say. The individual's trying to say that if you're nice, then you don't get what he thinks you deserve if you're being a bitch. Does that make sense? Yeah. So like if you're being polite, then that's okay. But if you say, hey, no, man, sorry about that, get the fuck out of my face or whatever, then you deserve what's coming to you. That's what he's trying to say. That's a subtext right there. Yeah. Now fuck that.
And the in my experience part, I'm like, so your experience must be from the male perspective, which means that what, your abuser?
Who,
like,
me?
What experience did you have other than, because he's clearly not speaking on behalf of the victim.
No. I mean, me being a first sergeant too, I've heard all the stories from domestic violence, and I have friends that are dealt with that, and that's what it is. And that's what I kept saying. Are we recruiting? Are we bringing in incels in the military? You know, that incel mentality. It's that I'm going to push myself on you. And then the next thing you know, well then, you know, you get what you deserve. Like if you wear provocative clothing, that's what you get. If you talk whatever certain way, then that's what you get. That right there, I can immediately, and also I think anybody, even including in the chats, is exactly that cause. He meant a submissive woman, a woman that will just go ahead and take whatever, and then that's it. I mean, that doesn't, I mean, that's and
it's not true.
Yeah.
It's actually not true.
No.
Because a lot of women who come from domestic violence situations actually do become submissive, right? Because
I have known the most strongest alpha women on the planet, and what they have had to deal with an abuser is unfathomable. It's enraging, especially when there's kids involved and all that. So and they know that I talk about this, and they're probably watching this right now. But I just want you to know that I think about that, about you. That's what I'm saying to those that I know. It's really fucking hard to hear somebody who you know is specifically really strong, and then they're dealing with that, and you just, and like Kaz was saying, it's just enraging. The internal man primal part of me is the part that, like you said earlier, the guys are talking about meeting up at a hotel, outside the courthouse so we could, slap. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, Jesus Christ, dude. So yeah, so some of the comments that I've seen that way, I know exactly what it is, only because I have experienced the comments through a person who is a survivor, and that's my thing. I know survivors that have that, and I always carry that. I carry their comments and their wisdom and their advice and what they tell me in my heart. It's like a fucking steel trap, man. Kings don't kiss and tell. So, whatever they tell me, I walk away going, what the fuck? Hey boys, let's go beat some ass. Anybody want to go to freaking, anybody want to go to Missouri or Kansas or Texas with me or freaking Arizona? Cause let's ándale pues. Cause it's one of those things that guys, I think that's what we say. That's part of that's checking ourselves. If you're at a bar as a guy and you say, hey, let me buy your drink. And the girl says, hey, no, thank you. That's your cue, dude. Just, okay, hey, appreciate it. And then just walk the fuck away.
The coercion,
and you know what? Because I've been offered drinks too. And I'm especially me, I like to hang out, and I do like, going to some cigar rooms and speakeasies and hanging out at jazz clubs. And the next you see fucking, I'm like, hey, how about a drink? And meanwhile, I'm already like, oh, this is like my 8th one. No, I'm good. And I kind of like joke around to kind of exactly that cause roofie alert to kind of push it off. But that's another thing too. It's the roofie alert. It's the thing where a guy, and I think anybody, I don't think it should just be, but specifically women, because the majority of women are being targeted in this. they should be really on fucking careful with a persistent fucking dude to say, oh yeah, here, get a drink. And they're being really pushy about it. And how come I said I wanted a freaking, hey, just because you saw me drinking a Mai Tai, that doesn't, what is a Mai Tai? Nah, it's not glowing green and shit. That's not a Mai Tai. It's just some of it is, I think dudes need to have a lesson in I would say it's like almost like chivalry. It's almost like you have honor to, hey, count your losses, bro. Hey, you talking to, hey, no, I'm okay, cool. Hey, appreciate it, whatever. And that's it. Usually, I'll be honest with you, in my experiences, when you're cool about something like that, it usually yields better results. Usually we'll be like, hey, sorry about that. I was having a bad day, or what, you want to go smoke or whatever. I mean, this is back when I used to smoke. And no big deal. Not an issue. Somebody said it's not beating nobody's ass. It's just a lesson in training. It's a learning experience. $91, and it's just for research. That's what everyone's dropping the rates. Everyone's dropping the rates at the hotel. But yeah, but as men, and I'm going to say this as men, you need to fucking check yourself.
This is going to be on the news somewhere when somebody actually does something.
Yeah, I know exactly. Oh yeah. Well, this is pure. I'll just say that. Hang on. Worst cause is
disclaimer. We do not recommend.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army.
Exactly. Then we fucking. Hey, how come there's a bunch of cars around this? This traffic? This courthouse has been pretty packed lately. What's going on?
It's good to go and put pressure, protesting and peaceful.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's some Pookie said that chivalry is dead, and I think what it is that chivalry is not understood because of home raising, of how men should be raised as men to act. Like, you don't hit women. I'm not talking about getting in arguments with your brother and sister when you're kids. I'm talking about because your parents should have manhandled your ass to not hit your sisters or not go fight with your sisters. That's what I got, because I got sisters. Got a bunch of sisters. So it's like, don't get in a fight with your sisters. Don't hit women. Yes, sir. 3 bags full. There you go. And then that's it. You don't, because even though we're kids and we're toddlers and we're like, fighting at each other at like, freaking 8 or 9 years old, in the lessons learned, you don't hit women. This is why you don't hit women. This is why you don't do this. This is why you don't do that. The same thing with women. There's nothing wrong with women being armed to understand what's going on. I want women to be armed. I mean, I'm talking about like firearms too. Some freedom device.
Absolutely. Because and it's sad that we have to, but
right, because now what's happening online is now becoming more physical. Now it's more a physical. I guess you would say the more physical events that's happening. If exactly, Jason, so mote it be. If you, how do I say this? If you're caught in a situation as a woman where you have to defend yourself and you have other people attacking you for how you did it, then there's something wrong with society. That's just it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about someone coming at you with a bat. Somebody coming at you, a woman, man or woman, coming with a deadly weapon or with the intent to kill you. Then of course you have to defend yourself. That's understandable. But you definitely saw Jorge was a little bit more stronger and a little bit more,
and that's her home, right? So even a lot of people are like, well, why didn't she do anything? Why didn't she fight back? Because she's a strong woman,
right?
Home.
Yeah, a lot of survivors.
If she tries to fight back,
and a lot of survivors are stuck. They're stuck between a freaking rock and a hard place, or a situation where immediately they can't bug out because they just can't. They just don't have the resources to do it, or the individual might. Or the individual might the abuser might be protected in that town to wherever she fucking goes, then she's gonna be watched. I fucking hate that.
One of the comments on my post on TikTok was that it wasn't even a comment, it was a message. I'm still waiting for her to get back to me. Actually, it was a woman who said, my husband tells me all the time that nobody will ever believe me. And I thought, well, so this is an active situation, so I'm waiting for her to respond to me so I can find out if she's in a safe place. But that's the kind of manipulation that they do as well, is like, nobody's going to believe you. If you go, I'll find you. And so in some cases, they just feel, you just feel like it's safer to just stay and just take the beatings than to leave and experience worse retaliation. So there's so many factors that contribute to why people stay, that it's really not fair to even focus on that.
Right.
Focus on why is this man putting his hands on this woman?
Right.
And like, why is mom bailing him out?
I'm gonna tell you what. My mom, if my mom found out that I had put hands on a woman, she would have said, "Good, stay in the fucking jail. Stay in fucking jail." and then she'd cuss me out in Spanish, German, and all this other stuff because, yeah, it would be like, no. So you want to hear some because we're gonna go on to the next segment. We're doing some Army news.
Okay.
Kaz said that Goop did good, and he didn't just bust out the camera and film they just bust out the phone and film vertically. He knows that drives me up the wall. Yeah. He followed through. So real quick in Army news, did you hear about our PT test or what's happening with our PT test or what's been going on?
I've been seeing some things here and there, but
because I know you as a squibbo. You don't. I can call you squibbo because we're family.
Yeah, I would be like, what's a PT test?
Yeah, what's a PT test exactly? You gotta like carry some missiles somewhere, or you handled the ordnance and that shit. So, there was we had a PT, our ACFT, or we used to be calling that APFT, had a really crazy rollout. The Congress got in, they removed an event, and now individuals were like, hey, okay, you updated the PT test. How come you didn't update the Army Body Fat Composition Program, which tells us that we're going to get fat or not fat, whatever. And again, I've talked about this before. Well, now, effective immediately, is that the Army has released you knock out a height and weight, and now it's been an exemption that if you score 540 points on your ACFT with a minimum of 80 points for each event, then you don't have to weigh in. You don't have to get the height and weight. And so it's like let me post a video with a picture of it.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Well, yes and no. And here's the reason why I say yes and no. And the reason why I say yes and no is because yes, it's good, and I've said this before. My soldiers, I know there was a fan that said I was one that chaptered him out, which wasn't true, but I always gave my soldiers the benefit of.
You chaptered him out?
Yeah, but he was just pulling my leg. I got really freaked out. I'm like, did I really? You seem really cool online. So I always taught my leaders. I was mentored also from my mentors that look, if the person's crushing an APFT or ACFT and they're like almost maxing it, or they got a really high score and they're just over just a couple of pounds, fuck that, don't tape them. But if they got to go to a school, or if they got to do something that's for like promotion or something like that, then of course you got to make sure that they're within standard. So shit, there you go. All right, so now effective immediately, all soldiers who score that 540 points don't have to get taped. They don't have to get weighed in. They don't have to whatever. So, I mean, personally, that's just one of the news that's breaking right now. I freaking can't.
That's good news. I mean, I guess something I'm missing. I think that's great news because I used to be a fitness coordinator and I had to do the taping and all that as well. And I would let people slide because, but that was before. I think they've improved that system a little bit, but it's like there's.
Well, it's like the Navy, Air Force, and the Navy, Air Force, Marines, Space Force. They all like, yeah, whatever. What's that? Well, okay, Army, you go ahead and add extra to that.
They're like having to go down like these tiny little like what are they called? Oh my gosh, my shipmates are going to be mad at me. What are the little circles that we have to squeeze in the hatches?
On the hatches.
Names. Yeah, I think I've been out too long.
I'm about to say, yeah.
What was your help me out here?
What was your PT test like anyway? You just ran, like Kaz says, you just ran back and forth to the boat. Is that what it was? You just went, all right, go. Is that how the Navy does their PT test?
Yeah. Up and down ladder wells. If you don't follow, you pass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, wait, no more. Yeah, exactly that, JJ. One of the main page admins, JJ, is inside the. No, the porthole is the window. That's what I got when I was on a ship.
Porthole. What is it? Come on.
A porthole's no, because okay, I did some time with a Marine expeditionary force, did some training events, and they gave me the whole thing. Like the deck is the floor. That's what I got. Yeah. Where the bulkhead is the wall. Yes. And then a window is a porthole, and I always think circular. I don't really think square. So.
It is called a porthole.
Yeah, it's a port, and then a hatch is where you walk in or secure or whatever and all that. And then you have to learn port side, starboard, stern, bow, and I'm like because then you hang out with a Marine, amphibious unit, and then you're like, oh yeah, just make sure you go on the deck with the bulkhead, and then you come back around with the porthole, and then after that, don't look at the porthole because if you open it up, the water's come through. But stay back to the bulkhead, put all your ship out right there, and then don't worry about that fucking, don't forget about make sure you go to the bow. and immediately I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know,
See, that's why we don't need to be losing weight, because we get all this exercise just running around the ship all day.
Like lost idiots,
It is a workout.
Yeah, just well, oh no, like I said, it was pretty.
Those stairwells are steep. I fell down once.
Yeah. No, I had to catch myself because I watched somebody. You know, they were walking down front wise, and they tried to be slick and do the slide down the thing, but it was too steep, and he fell. He just fell. He didn't slide. He just went. Boom. He fell. So
at least he didn't tumble. It's not so bad. We're used to that. We do that, and you just kind of, you get back up and keep going. Because the sliding down is like a normal thing. We all just because it's a lot of stairs. Up and down,
it's an art. It's an art.
Because it's really awkward the way the steps are, and so we're just like, just slide on down. But falling forward is bad because then you just hit all that steel.
Yeah, and it's not giving. You're gonna give. That's what I'm saying. The guy almost twisted his ankle when he got towards the end because his foot ankle went in between the steps, and like you said, he caught himself before he like snapped. So anyways, but the only thing about this thing now is that it's not retroactive with these with this new taping thing, and it doesn't give any provisions for alternate events. That's what pisses me off. Pisses me off. That's my concern, is that we have a lot of soldiers that have injuries like jumped or rucked or air assault operations or combat injuries, and you get injured to where you're on a permanent profile where you can't do an event. Well, this doesn't count. You have to be able to do all the events. So that's my only thing about this.
Okay.
So that's just another piece of breaking news. We also have another situation here, another vignette, story, line, whatever you want to call it. Is that there was a story that came out about it was in the Army Times, and let me grab this because I got kind of pretty. Look, I'm all about, and I said this on Monday, I'm all about veteran empowerment, and when you're getting out, like if you're getting out and you're about ready to leave, you should be given every accord to get out, so that way you don't end up homeless because they didn't let you get out. Because some guys we have right now that are like 90, 60 days out of the Army, and the Army says, ha, too bad, there you go.
Yeah.
And you're just out. So there's a scenario right here that's happening right now. This happened right now to a soldier in Poland doing the things to go prevent with the things. So at the end of February, there were some troops that had dwell time, which means like they've deployed too much, and so they have to like stay at home, their dwell to ratio. So for example, if you were deployed for a year, you have to stay at home a year. So there's individuals that were sent, you have to sign a waiver that you do want to deploy again within that time frame. So there was individuals that were set to ETS, set to PCS, and sent forward with no dwell waiver, and they had kids on the way, like babies about ready to be born. So in the middle of February, that would have put them in a flight. That's what they were like saying, they were going to, hey, we're going to send him out on 2 March to be back at Fort Hood for 90 days to clear from his ETS. 90 days. They were going to leave. They were going to leave him in Poland just up to the right to the end point, so that way 90 days he could do clearing, he could do ACAP, he could do whatever. The kid finally flew out on 9 March, like just recently.
Yeah.
So, and then the DTS manager said, "Oh yeah, you might have to buy your own ticket to get back from Baltimore to Texas." So my biggest thing is that I don't.
This is Army?
What's that?
Army?
Oh yeah, Army. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Come on, man. This is not US WTF moment, Navy moments. We are friends with. Yeah, you wouldn't do that. Yeah.
Sounds about Army.
Yeah. This is, you're welcome. Yeah. Well, I mean, we have US Navy WTF moments that we're friends with. There's another page like that. That's pretty funny.
Is there?
Yeah, there is for real. No shit.
I'm on the wrong page.
Yeah,
Navy WTF, I'm right here waiting for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're that was exactly that cause. Holy eye roll, dude. I can see that eye roll from here. You almost knocked that thing behind you now. So anyways, my biggest thing is that we don't, again, the Army Times released a memorandum talking about how lawmakers are very concerned with the fact that most troops don't begin transition classes until in their final months of military service, Well, you don't have to fucking have lawmakers. You don't have to have Congress to find out, oh, there's an issue. Why are we falling short? Why are we doing this? And I said, hey, look, I'll bet you a bottle of bourbon that there's a connection between veteran homelessness and commanders not allowing those troops to hit those transition programs.
Absolutely.
So
I experienced kind of like a bitterness as I was getting out from the people who were staying in. And it was almost like I was being punished for not re-enlisting. So that's what you get. It's almost like, oh, you're getting out. Good luck. You're
Right.
going to be on your own.
Yeah.
And so,
Yep.
I mean, I've gone to conferences where they have that, oh my gosh, why can't I think of the name of the program? You know, the program where they can intern.
Skill Bridge. You're talking about Skill Bridge?
Skill Bridge.
Yeah.
My friends are going to come for me on that one because they're like, you literally sat in on a conference where we talked about this. And, you know, they talk about how like some of the commands are like, no, you can't do that because we need you. But a lot of the times it's just that the people that are staying in, they're just bitter because they haven't crossed that path yet.
Yeah, they're not there yet. Exactly that. Yeah.
I'm not going to help you.
Yeah,
Figure
exactly.
it out.
Exactly. Yeah, you do this. Some people are saying, I don't know, I'd rather be homeless and living in the back of a Camaro than being in the Army again. Ooh, ouch.
Well, I mean, so I joined from a homeless shelter, and that was my biggest fear was like, I'm going to get out and I'm going to be homeless again. And I get out, and it's October of 2008. So I was fine leading up to it. I did my TAP class. I had plans. I had saved up some money. And then the recession hits, and all the jobs go away. And here I am back. Not so much homeless, but kind of couch surfing for a couple months, trying to find a job. I was humbled very quickly. So, but again, leading up to it, I did get those comments of, I remember one time we were just having like a barbecue, like just a morale barbecue, right? And the chief was like, CSK2, McDonald's isn't going to do this for you. And I mean, yeah, they would actually. I could have a hamburger at McDonald's if I worked there, but like, it was a bad analogy that he made. But he was trying to say that's where I was going to end up, almost kind of like, you're throwing your whole life away because you're getting out. And yeah, well, he wasn't right about that.
Well, I said to somebody that, and I threw it out on social media too, is that we do such a good job to get somebody, we do good to get somebody to join. We're going to give you this bonus. We're going to send you there, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and then you're going to do this, and you're going to do that. You're like, oh yeah, sign me up. And then you're going to do this. Oh, can I go to this? Yeah, go. But when it comes to like ETSing, we just totally fuck it up. It's just like, it's like it should be.
That they bring you in on are promises of what your life is going to be like after you get out.
Yeah, it should be the same thing. It should be opposite too. You should have somebody all charged up. Yes, you're getting ready to go. All right, let's go drink some coffee. Here's what you're going to do. Do you know how to do a resume? I don't know, Matt Damon. All right, well, here you go. It's time to do a resume. And it's like, be all you can be, but we're going to make it to where you be all you can't when you get out. That's what's happening with this. Because the global war on terror is OEF, OIF, all that stuff is done. And we're done. We're good to go. So I don't know why this mad rush to this Poland stuff or going to all these other countries. It just made it like, are you serious? You guys really? We're not really going. I mean, there's no war. I mean, we're doing shit, but I'm just saying we're not rotating people in the meat grinder again. 20th anniversary of Iraq is coming up. So what's funny is that there's individuals that say, hey, look, nobody can believe that this is happening right now, that we're like just letting soldiers wait all the way up to the end. And these guys are deployed. So they've had no time to go and look for a house, look for a job. No one's around to help them. That the rear detachment is like, yeah, whatever, go do whatever. Or the rear detachment will put them on duty until it's time for them to out process. So yeah, there's some individuals that I know.
On TikTok who's been raising awareness about this with her situation because she literally just ETS'd and she was having a hard time getting her VA compensation to go through. And then I don't know the exact story. I've just been kind of tracking here and there, but she didn't get her DD-214 because the chief was not there at like 11 o'clock on the Friday that she was supposed to get out. And so he said, come back on Monday, but she had to work. And now they just keep kind of kicking her DD-214 down and not giving it to her. And she's like, dude, I'm out and I can't even get it. It's kind of like, sucks to be you.
Yeah.
You're gone now.
Yeah.
We're no longer responsible for you. So, and they do that with a lot of things, right? You need help finding, storing your personal goods for a little bit longer, or like you said, paying for your ticket to get home. And it's like, once that day hits, you're done.
Yeah.
And don't even come back to us and talk to us.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say I got in trouble, but I wrote my, I don't want to sound like a dick, but I never say I wrote my soldiers off when it was time for them to go. I wrote my soldiers off. I was like, okay, you're doing skill bridge. You're doing whatever. I don't want to see you.
You give them part-timer time.
Yeah. I want to see you. As a matter of fact, just shoot me a text once in a while. Let me know that you're okay. Because at this point you're on the way out. And then if you need anything, just, hit up detachment sergeant, hit up your team leader. And or you can hit me up if they're not around, because you're kind of like getting out. I'm gonna start calling you Frank now, or Bob, or whatever, and you can come in and even when you're out, if you need anything, I guess I didn't give a shit. I mean, I didn't give a shit about them being in the Army. I gave a shit about them making sure they hit all their appointments to get out to do their stuff. So
because when you retaliate, or you make those last few weeks or months unbearable for that person. As a leader, maybe you get like a little dopamine hit of like, oh, okay, this person's going to suffer because they're getting out.
Right.
But that short time dopamine hit for you of being able to control them for that little last bit of time you have with them could actually make a huge impact on their future forever.
Or
think about that.
Or the impact of their kids joining the military, or because they're going to go home with that story. They're going to go home and say, hey, Janae, what happened with you? And you just like, man, it was great to join, but when you get out, I don't give a fuck about you.
Exactly.
Which you're not lying. You're not like making shit up.
Right.
And it's just like, hey, some of the situations that happened are true. I got a lot of friends that were the same way. They were rode hard and put up wet, and TDYs, deployments, TDYs. Oh, you'll get that when you back. Oh, you'll get that in the back end. Oh, you'll get this. Oh, come on, man. Just do one more rotation. Well, can I get back in time? Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, well, sorry. Guess we're gonna have to wait on your flight to get back. And maybe you should. You sure you want to get out? It's almost like they dangle that shit. There should. Yeah. Somebody said, just like there's replacement companies to come into a unit, there should be like exit companies. Like you're getting ready to leave, and like an perfect. Well, that's a good one. Off-ramp company.
Yeah, well, that's it. In leadership, that's what we look at, is what are people's on-ramps and off-ramps, right? So what's your off-ramp?
Right.
I have a theory too. So as far as like retaliating and making their life hell, like that's just an asshole leader, right? But as far as being able to help them with like their transition with the resume and the job search, we go to our leaders and we hope that they can help us with that, but they haven't transitioned yet. So they don't know. They're not going to tell you that though, right? Because I'm not going to go to my Master Chief and be like, Master Chief, can you help me write a resume? He's not going to be like, I've never transitioned out of the military. I've never had to write a resume, so I can't help you. No, he's going to say,
exactly.
Go find, like he's going to do some kind of egotistical way of like, get out of here.
Yeah.
You're going to work at McDonald's. But so my thing is for those who are getting ready to transition, if I could give any advice, it is look to those people who have successfully transitioned out of the military for guidance. And your leaders in the military are great at what they do in the military. And that's who you should look to for guidance while you're for growing within the military. But if you're looking for guidance on how to successfully transition out of the military, more than likely, you're not going to find that from the people who haven't done it yet.
Right.
So go find the ones who have.
Right. I watched. I'm a sponge. I watch people how they do shit, and they shoot this and say, hey, look. I mean, the only resume that I ever looked at was I had a mentor back in 2010. I mean, I didn't retire to 2018, but back in 2010, he was like, hey, you need to sit down. You need to have a plan. Here's what you need to do. Here's what you need, blah, blah, blah. And we're all sitting in this room, all the senior NCOs, like, all right, everybody, who to here has a LinkedIn account? And everyone's like, fuck's that, Sergeant Major? And they're like, oh, it's a networking business professional. It's not a dating app. It's not nothing for you to go fucking around. It's purely business. These are people that are looking at you to hire you. So what do you think should be in there? And then, I'm kind of like, Sergeant Major, I think you should, like sell yourself. He's like, there you go. Sell yourself. Okay, there you go. So how would you sell yourself? So we all like war gamed, and I'm like telling the Sergeant Major, this fucking is awesome. He was a Sergeant Major SOCOM, Chris Ferris, and he wrote, here you go, this, and then you write this, and then you make sure you write that. We're like, oh, okay, shit, I'm taking notes and all that. He's like, now I want you guys to go back to your offices, and since this is NCOPD time, this is still NCOPD time. Go back and go look through your I Love Me book. Go through your documents to see what you got. Everybody here should have a I Love Me book if you're here. So go through your documents, see what you've done. Don't post any wars, just post your work experience and then try to civilianize it and start doing all that and then lay it all out. Spend some time doing that. I'm like, okay, shit. So we went back. The next thing you know, everyone's got LinkedIn account. And the next thing you know, everyone's like hitting everybody up. Oh, dude, I got a job offer for this. I got a job offer for that. I could have done this. So that piece of information, like I said, I wasn't planning on retiring at the time, but he just said, hey, because you never know what's going to happen, have this in your cargo pocket to use. I really think that needs to be some support. Yeah, exactly. Somebody says there needs to be a bigger support group to help that. I mean, some of this cut and paste shit.
What he did was amazing, and not many leaders. There's a lot that are doing that, but that's really cool that he did that for you guys.
Yeah, not only did he lay it all out, but he also said, okay, now the Army has introduced this thing called an SSD, which is, I can't remember what it was called. It was like these things for your NCO, PME stuff, or your professional development. Yeah. So it's like, right now the Army's about ready to, they're going to issue these SSDs out. So knock them all out. Knock them all out right now, because the Army right now is really confused on their tech and their automation, and they were just online classes. Knock them all out. So we spent like freaking, it was like all morning doing all this. So everyone's knocking out their SSDs like, hey, what'd you get to answer that? Oh yeah, it's this. All right, cool. I can say this now because I'm out. Because promotion stuff is really freaking if you start talking about tests and shit. So yeah, it's that mentorship that I think the Army needs to realize, that there needs to be some like getting out ambassador. Like there needs to be somebody who's,
I like that.
Just like walking in, hey, what's up, guys? What you doing? Hey, what's up? I'm your ambassador. I'm your off-ramp ambassador. There you go. I'm your off-ramp ambassador to assist you in your transition needs, and have somebody who's freshly retired from the Army, not somebody who retired back in the 80s or 90s, but because there's still programs that are like way different now than they are now.
Yes. Even what it's been like 14 years for me, and there's so like SkillBridge didn't exist when I got out. LinkedIn was barely something.
Right. Exactly.
I don't think people were really posting jobs on there when I got out. So I was still using like Career Builder and stuff like that to look for jobs. So there's a lot more resources now that are there, and it's like you said, it's good to have an ambassador or somebody to advocate for you in case your leadership is making it difficult. Someone to say, hey, this person's getting out. We need to make sure that they're prepared for that, and that we don't just put them on the street.
Right. And that's my biggest thing, is that when these kids are not even kids, sometimes people retiring, somebody my age or a little bit younger or older, they're getting ready to get out. They should be looked at. Hey, look, they're the commodity that you want for your recruitment for the future. People, the future enlistments, future recruits. So
yeah, so I'm going to do a shameless plug for somebody that I interviewed recently. There's a website that's called Freelance Corporal. He's going to get on me if I say it wrong. And what he does is for junior service members, he actually created kind of like a budget website, and you can go in there and you can put what your ETS date is and your rank. So it already calculates everything for you, and it kind of tells you how much to put aside so that you can have this certain amount saved up by the time you get out. So you can start at the beginning of your enlistment saving and using this program, and it gives like awards if you hit your target. He gives out gifts. Like I think my book is actually going to be one of the gifts for people who hit their target in the future. So he gives out gifts and awards to kind of promote people saving up. So when they do transition, they already have, $40,000 to $60,000 saved. So there's just so many really cool programs that I don't think people know are available to them. Sorry, I thought that was just a really cool plug since we're talking about.
Well, it's up. As you were talking, I was wrapping it, and I was.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a very simple tool. He said, I wanted to make it for. He's a Marine, so he's like, I wanted to make it crayon eater friendly. And
I was gonna say crayon free.
Because sometimes when we talk about money, we get overwhelmed. I had a chief who tried to teach me about budget when I was in E4, and it just was too far outside of anything that I could imagine. And he was talking big numbers that I never would see on my paycheck.
Right.
So this website's really cool because it takes your actual paycheck. It knows how much you make. You can see he's sponsored by some of the big companies, Bunker Labs and stuff like that. And it's really cool. It's just a really cool tool that people can go in there, plug in what they want to have when they get out. So say you want to invest $40,000. It sounds big. It sounds like a lot of money. You want to invest $40,000 when you get out into a business and start your next journey. Well, this is going to help you over the course of 3 years or 4 years or 2 years, wherever you're at in your career, to save that amount. And it'll give you awards and a lot of people rallying around you to make sure that you meet those goals.
No, it's important because I had another mentor of mine when I was more of a junior ranking troop, but almost an NCO, and he taught me about investments, bonds, CDs, mutual funds, and all that. And he said, he gave me a little plan. He's like, we just don't get that. We just don't get that sit down mentorship anymore. Like, where now leaders, it seemed like leaders are so fucking busy doing shit that they just can't. They just feel like they're too busy to do it, like to sit down and do
more
it.
with less, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
in some cases, some are just not capable. They don't have the skills themselves either. We expect that just because somebody's an officer, or just because somebody's a senior enlisted, that they know how to manage their money, and that's not always the case.
Exactly. Oh man, real quick, I just want to give one more story before we take off and all that. Hey, look, there's a situation at Fort Hood where a family was in, and I had her on Fort Hood. I had her on here to talk about Fort Hood and the mold and all this stuff. And her family, husband just recently retired and all that. It just really made me mad that the whole time she was on Fox News, she was here talking. Her name's Maureen Elliott. And I just got an update that 4 years later, thousands of attorney fees, medical expenses, and still to this day, that they have had no help or assistance from the Army with a housing situation, and they just recently threw everything they have ever owned into a fucking landfill, and they've never received a penny for any of this shit. So I just
after they transitioned out.
Yeah, he just recently retired, and he, like I said, family issues with breathing and ailments. So it's that mold shit that fucking just keeps happening that we just seem to blow off. And no one does shit. So I just wanted to give a real quick shout out. Congratulations to Maureen and her husband for Sapper Elliott for their recent retirement. And again, I wish them all the best. You want to hang out while I do housekeeping? It's only got like 4 or 5 minutes left.
I'm here. You're stuck with me.
Oh, there you go.
I think that I gotta come. I gotta be a regular. We'll see if people are like, they're gonna message me like,
dude, need to come back on, man. So this is Sergeant. This is Sergeant's time. Oh, I got a mic right here. This is Sergeant's time with myself and Janae, guest host. Man, we got John Carroll Lynch. Wait, he's gonna be on next week. We also got freaking St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. Man, we got so much stuff going on. All of our guests and hosts that join us every day, every show. You have today Sergeant's Time with myself and Janae. You have Friday Night Freedom with Cause and Pookie. And then, of course, Saturday's a day off. Sunday is the sports bar with the King Smith and the Coach. And then Monday edition with myself and Shipwreck. Tuesday, Pop Culture Warrior and his rotating guest co-host. And then myself, not myself. And then Wednesday with TZ and Radar for the Smoke Pit. Phew. It's a lot to get out. Wait, where'd you go? Let me put you back. My bad. Shit. There you go. Anywho, I want to
give me time to kind of take care of some business. No,
yeah, I know. I had to wipe my nose real quick. I'm dealing with the sickness the boy gave me. Yeah. Hey,
I don't know why my nose always itches when I do podcasts.
Oh, I know. I sit there and I keep remembering. It's like, yeah, like, fuck, I'm on camera now. Ken, you got something hanging from your nose. What the fuck is that? Anyways, so guys, gals, thanks for hanging out. And, Janae, once again, thank you for hanging out. This is a great first guest host test for you. So this is, like I said, we got more planned. We're working some other stuff too with American Grit and Grunt Style. I can't wait for that stuff to come out. Can't wait. So stay tuned. Yes, I just said it. Me and Janae are going to be involved in some other projects with Tim Jensen and Grunt Style. Yes, I said it. Grunt Style. And peace has been made. Shameless plug, yeah. The olive branch has been passed between me and Tim, and everything's good to go. So you guys, again, are expect to see some good shit coming out between WTF Moments, WTF Nation Radio, Janae, and Grunt Style. So, phew, I got that out of the way. I have to. It's almost like when you want to be the rumor mill. You just can't keep the tea in. You know what I mean? So, Janae.
squash it before it becomes something that it's not. Just
Right,
say
exactly. Tim's going to be like, dude, did you just say? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we talked about that. So.
Well, because if he's still on the fence, now he's committed.
Exactly that. He is definitely committed. Yeah. So. All right, guys and gals. Janae, you got anything you want to say?
I don't. I just want to say thank you for having me here, and thank you to everybody for the kind comments and even the not so kind comments.
Yeah, even the not so kind comments. Exactly. All right, guys, y'all have a good and take it easy. Shots.
If that's really a thing, and I get authorized to do it once, it's pretty much gonna be me sitting there talking shit like constantly.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Sometimes when I look at, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, I think it's WTF Army or something.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio. The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Я батько. Я молодший брат. Я водій маршрутки. Я скоро одружуся. Я фанат Шахтера.
Начальник отдела продаж.
Я прораб.
Я программист. Я свидетель на свадьбе.
Борщица.
Дядя Юра, таксист. Я вчитель фізкультури.
Я студент-геолог.
У мене своя фірма. Я кращий друг зі школи. Я сусід, який завжди стукає по батареї.
Я єдиний син.